Hi everyone, it's Corey. So today's video is going to be all about my hair. Now my hair currently has an undercut, the sides are shaved, and then on top it's much longer and it is gray. Kind of like a bluey gray. Sometimes under certain lights it looks more blue, sometimes it looks more like neutrally gray, but I definitely prefer it as like a relatively neutral, almost like natural looking gray. But I mean, like, how natural do I look with gray hair? I mean, whatever. But I have run the gambit of hair colors, not like too crazy, but I've done like a violety red, and I had that probably for like 2 years, and that was consistently Wella's black cherry. I really enjoyed that color. It, like, kept its vibrancy for a pretty long time, and it was like the right tone. It lifted my like natural virgin hair, which was black, to like the right depth that I wanted, and I really liked that. Then I used to have like a blonde streak, and then I had a green streak, and then I just kind of got sick of it all, and I dyed it back to black, and that I just used like a box black. I'm not really sure which one that was, but then like the black grew out, and it was just my natural black. And then I started, probably a year ago, I started going through the blonding process, in which I used this. This is L'Oreal High Color Highlights in Ash Blonde. And this was like, this is a high lift color, so you use a 30 volume developer or higher. I only use 30 though, because I think 40 is like unnecessarily high in chemicals when it doesn't really do anything much more than 30. But this worked really well. I mean, it's high lift, but it never really got me to Ash Blonde in one try. Like, it kind of brought me to like a neutral, like medium brown first, and then like as I kept doing it, it brought me eventually to a level 7, like ashy blonde, and I really liked that for a while. But then my hairstylist and I decided just to kind of start playing around with my color, and that's when I started taking it out of my hands, because I did this all by myself. But once we started venturing out of that, then like it was all up to my hairstylist Kayla. So then we have always kept the sides black. That hasn't changed. This is just my virgin hair. And then on the top, which was blonde from this, we bleached it out to like probably level like 9 or 10, which had a bit of yellow in it. And then we actually used Ion Mint Green to achieve like a mint green undercut type thing, and that was really fun. I thought it looked really edgy and kind of cool. Some people thought it was like kind of tacky, but whatever. That didn't stay for very long. And then afterwards we bleached the green out, and we pretty much brought my base color on top to like a 10. And I think 10 is the highest you can go. I mean, like, if you can go to an 11, it was probably an 11, because it was like snow white, which if any of you like Asians out there have tried like lightening your hair, like, you go through lots and lots of awkward phases before you can get it like to a pale white. So yeah, you essentially go from like 0 to 100, but we did this process over a very long period of time, so it was not as damaging. But when it was white, it still was damaged. When we reached that like level 10, it was very stringy, almost elastic. So to compensate for that, personally, I did a protein treatment, and I did this a couple times. And this is Aphogee 2-step protein treatment, and this is awesome stuff. This is a hard protein treatment, so you put it all through your hair, and then you blow dry it, because what happens is, like, the proteins in it, they start bonding to your hair, and then with the heat, it's kind of like you're burning protein back into your hair, because that's what the bleaching process removes, is proteins. So this, like, restored my hair back to, like, a non-elastic state, and it was just soft and nice. But with protein treatments, you only want to do them, like, once in a while, because they can actually have, like, the reverse effect. If you do them too often, your hair can have too much protein in it, and it can get hard and brittle, then, like, break off. So this, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry about that. So where was I with Aphogee? Oh, so it can, if you use it too often, then it will like make your hair brittle and stuff. And then it will break off. So you only want to do this like once in a while. Only when you feel like your hair needs it, you should do it. If you're just doing it for the sake of doing a protein treatment, then it really won't do you any good, and probably like do you some bad. So I would only recommend doing this like once every month, like maybe like twice a month. And there is a difference between having like weak hair essentially and having dehydrated hair. You know, like this isn't a moisturizing treatment, this is a repairing treatment. So, you know, like assess if your hair is dry or if it is damaged, because this will not remedy dry hair. This will probably only make it feel more straw-like. So, yes, so use protein treatments with caution, but they do wonders. And now, onto this whole gray thing. So my hair is like white underneath this, and for color of the gray, we first use Titanium by Joico, which is a semi-permanent titanium color. But because my hair was so porous, because it was freshly bleached and it was like white, we left it on for probably like 30 minutes to an hour, and then it pretty much went like a really, really, really dark blue color, which I thought it looked okay, but it just wasn't what we were going for. So I like washed my hair every day for about a week after that in order to like strip the color, and then afterwards it eventually faded out to a really beautiful like silvery white almost, like, well, not white, but it was like a real silver color, you know, like silver. But again, like that wasn't what I was feeling, and you know, like I knew that the gray would have a lot of upkeep because it would be fading a lot. So in order to touch up myself, just my color, sometimes I use Fanci-Full by Roux, and this is in True Steel, and I mean like everyone that has ever done the silver gray hair thing has talked about this. It comes in like this little nozzly thing, which is kind of inconvenient, but it's like essentially like a black liquid. And what you do is you apply it to wet hair, comb it through so that all the color is dispersed, and then you will blow dry it to kind of like lock it in. And this is a rinse, so it will only last until you wash your hair. But if you get your hair wet, like when you style it like I do, then it will start draining then. So this is more of like the temporary option if you're like in a pinch. But what I prefer doing is I just prefer to like retouch my whole color. And for that, I use a toner. And toners are essentially used to like counteract brassy tones in blondes. But if you leave toners on a little bit longer, and if your base is light enough, then they'll actually kind of either go like blue or purple, or in this case, this one actually goes like this really nice like bluey gray. And this is Wella Color Charm, and this is actually an additive in Cooling Violet 050. So this isn't really meant to be used by itself, but I use it by myself, and I think that it gets a really awesome color. And I mix this with a 10 volume developer because I really need no lift with it. I just need it to deposit down color. So yeah, I use these together. I probably mix them in like a, I don't even know, I just kind of mix them until the color and the consistency is like nice for me, which is kind of like a thick like gel cream almost, so it will like really stay through my hair. And once I apply this, I just probably leave it on for about 5 minutes, because this will probably have the same effect that the titanium did, and it will turn my hair like dark blue. And I don't want that. I just want my, you know, I just want to restore the gray. So I use these, and this has actually worked really well for me. This is, you can get this at Sally's. And yeah, so this is probably like the main thing that I use now. When I get my like roots done and when I get my color all touched up, I think we're going to try to use Pravana Silver, because that just sounds like a good idea. I like running the gambit of all possibilities. But for like shampoo and conditioner, I use Joico. This is a very large bottle, but I use Joico Color Endure in Violet, and this is a purple shampoo. You know, like purple shampoo is for toning. You know, like blondes use it, and me especially, I need to use it because, you know, like I'm gray, so I'm like beyond the blonde spectrum, and I'm like into this region, so it really needs to have like that really cool base to it. And this is, it's kind of like it's coming in a little bit lighter on camera, but it really is like a kind of a deep, deep violet with a violet base. You know, it has no like blue in it, and it's relatively thick. And and this is relatively low lathering too, so I probably like leave this on my hair for about like 1 to 2 minutes. And afterwards, I use this. This is Blond Brilliance Temporary Color Care Cool Blondes Conditioning Toner in the cool blonde shade. So it looks like this. I got this at Sally's. I think this is a brand that is specific only to Sally's because it is a division of Beyond the Zone, which is a Sally's sort of like in-house brand type thing. But this is a toning conditioner, and this really is awesome. This actually has a very similar color to the Joico one. And what I do with this is, because this is like really meant for like intense toning, so I actually like to mix probably like a 1-to-1 ratio of this with just like a moisturizing conditioner. And for that I use like Mane and Tail, which is that horse conditioner, but I think it smells really awesome and it's really hydrating. So I like to mix those two together, and that really keeps my hair a nice cool undertone. Because like even with the gray, like some of the yellow can start to pop through and that just looks weird. So yeah. Oh, and in terms of hair washing, I probably wash my hair 2 to 3 times a week, like every 3 or 4 days, because, you know, like I am oily skinned, so I'm relatively like oily scalped, but ever since like we started doing the bleaching process and like the chemicals and stuff, my scalp has actually not been producing as much oil, so that's pretty good. So, yeah, I don't really have to wash it, and you cannot wash your hair too often or else the color will fade like that. You know, like these are temporary colors, so they, you know, like they kind of like sit on top of the hair and they like stain a little bit, but they're not like locked into the shaft, so they will come out eventually. Like if I washed my hair consistently and if I didn't like use purple shampoos or I didn't like touch up my toner, then this would probably all fade out in like 2 weeks. So this is definitely a high maintenance color, and it's also a high maintenance cut. But I mean, like my hairstylist Kayla is awesome. Shout out to Kayla. And if you guys have any more questions about the silver hair life, then definitely leave it down below, and, you know, comment, rate, subscribe, share with your friends. This is my second video, and I just want to thank everyone so much for the awesome feedback that I got on the first video. I feel like I'm already part of the YouTube family, so thank you guys for watching, and take care.